Oh.
Yep. That's it.
And we also have Crypto K.
Crypto K.
Yes, I'll be the host of Cloud Money that stars on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Hey.
Cloud Money. Cloud Money.
Now, what does cloud money mean?
So cloud money is taking what we understand as technology and simply calling it the cloud because it's the most popular reference, and then money, dealing with finances because we want to help decentralize finance.
I just learned all that.
Education. He's smart. Yeah, he's a bookworm.
Crypto K, were you that kid that would take apart the microwave and then try to put it back together?
The microwave, the TV, the doorbell. If it had lights and switches and batteries, I was trying to take it apart and put it together.
Wow.
What was your favorite show, MacGyver?
No, that was my grandma's show.
That was it?
Yeah, but I remember like a show called Knight Rider.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Knight Rider. Yeah, with Kid.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say Go-Go
Revolutionary.
Gadget.
Yeah, so
Inspector Gadget. Yeah.
it's funny. Last year I met a developer who was really like into sound. So he was like a finalist for the Mercedes-Benz, like making like a Alexa program voice for it. So I always thought he was the person who could create the car.
Right.
Wow,
Right. That is
awesome.
nice.
And now here we are, 20 years later, and we got Alexa and Siri and
Echo and
everybody else talking to us.
I want to create one. If I wanted to create my own Alexa version, could you help me do that?
Yes. So y'all are actually sitting amongst a Twilio champion. So Twilio.
What?
Twilio.
Twilio.
Yes.
Is that like a twerker for technology?
I wish, but
Does that come with a check?
but Twilio is a cloud communications company that made like their specialty is SMS, voice, and video streaming services for developers. So they want to empower developers to create their own Netflix or their own SoundCloud and other various platforms.
I want to make my own voice little activation. I feel like we should expand. Like, I love my GPS. I never leave home without it because I wouldn't know where I was going anyway. But I have the option of 10 rights. What? Oh, I have the option of 10 rights. Somebody from Britain and all of that. I want Aloquisha. I want Aloquisha. Like, where you going today? All right, we going to the right. Like, where you going? Turn around. I don't want to recalculate. Like, I want it to be urbanistically developed for me. And I think the people from they should have the same possibility to have the same thing for theirs. Then you go to the right. I feel like everybody should have whatever it is that they got. Yeah. So can you help me develop that?
Actually, yeah, we really can. And the funny thing is, they've actually worked on like customized personalities over like robocalls. So it'll be like a teen skater person if you were trying to make your own little skate park, or it could be like an old Scottish or British person just saying hello, thank you for calling the service. And I believe that where technology is going, like there's going to be robots who are going to sound and like look just like humans, and then we're not going to be able to tell the difference.
Absolutely. They already got that little baby alive. My dad got my niece that baby alive. She was so scared of that thing because like her face crinkled and smiled, and it was a baby doll, but it would little coo and had dimples and would blink.
Nope, not in my house.
Oh no, not for her Christmas.
Can we say
either.
Chucky?
Yeah, exactly. Nope.
Yeah,
But even to bring it,
the same and everything.
to bring it a step further, on Netflix, there's a comedian, and she was on stage, and she was talking about the robot that she literally had custom made to look exactly like her. She's a comedian. She's married. She's on the road a lot of the times of the year. She did not want her husband to go without, literally. Telling the God's honest truth. So she went to this, she had heard about these sex dolls.
Right here.
And she went to this factory that literally made sex dolls, you know, different sizes, different whatever, shapes, forms, and they took literally a mold of her face, a mold of her boobs, her butt, the whole nine, and customized a doll that looked exactly like her. They programmed it with her voice, So it sounded like her, looked like her, and they programmed it with different phrases and speech patterns and things like that, which mimicked hers. So now when she's on the road on stage, there's this doll that is at home that is performing these acts for her husband, which apparently he's comfortable with.
God intended. No.
But he's comfortable with it, and it works, and it's robotics, and there's a whole nother world that's
Her name is
operating.
Whitney Cummings.
Whitney Cummings
how about-
made a sex robot of herself.
Okay,
there
so,
it is.
So how about he come on the road with her or join her on the road, or he just like wait until she gets back so
He acts
that'll
like a
be the
normal human
bomb?
being?
Right.
I'm just saying.
People don't want to
what
act
they say-
human anymore.
No.
I mean,
no.
but that's what
It's
we
too
are.
basic.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
too ba-
Yeah.
Really? You don't agree with this nut right
I'm
here?
just saying.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, he recognizes, understands
people are
greatness.
transcending their
Yes.
humanity.
You know, I don't.
Or they're trying to.
They're trying.
You
All
know?
shapes, sizes, experimentation.
Well, I've heard that they're now transferring the consciousness of a person into right
Yeah.
grown like bodies.
If they can put it on the big screen, I guarantee you
100%.
it is existing someplace in somebody's laboratory.
I'm telling, dude.
Yeah.
It's just very expensive.
Yeah, I have said this. I have said this for years. You know that movie Hills Have Eyes, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So when that came out, a lot of people was like, "Oh, it's a fictional movie."
No,
I'm
it
like,
ain't.
have you forgotten?
West
Chernobyl.
Virginia.
Have you forgotten Albuquerque?
Right.
These things exist. Radiation.
Radiation and
These were not aliens.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Right.
And I was like, the scariest part of this movie is it could be factually accurate.
yeah, absolutely.
Like The Purge.
That's that. Yeah. Yeah. I don't like that movie.
My ringtone is The Purge.
I heard that yesterday.
Yeah.
I was a little creeped out. It was okay, But yeah, no, seriously, it's just when I saw that, and I was just like, oh my goodness, And then we watch all these movies and these shows. First of all, Criminal Minds. Okay. Think about all that stuff. Okay, this is possible. This is possible.
You start connecting the dots.
That's a problem.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that's where sometimes when you talk about IT and the cloud and the internet and things of that nature, we have to be careful
Yes, we really do.
because sometimes we cross that line. When we cross that line, we can't come back from it. And I think this world is heading in that direction, and
Absolutely.
it ain't gonna be pretty. It really's not.
So you're familiar with all this stuff. I'll ask you a question right now because I was arguing with a couple of people the other day about this.
You argue?
A little bit. I'm not.
He's passionate about this.
I argue for productivity. I don't care
At
who's
the end
right
of the
or
day,
wrong.
believe me.
I just want to move forward, right? But you talk about all these things. I was in my office talking about loafers, something very insignificant.
Yeah.
The next day, there were like loafer ads on my Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah, look it up.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep.
It happens to all of us. Happens to me.
It happens to us
Yes.
every Saturday when we're on the mic talking about something. I'll start getting ads on Facebook. and
Artificial
Instagram.
intelligence at one of its highest.
listening,
and
aren't they?
yeah.
They're listening.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Don't have
Big
your
brother.
phone on while you intimate with your significant other because they're gonna start advertising sex toys and all
And
that.
condoms and everything else. But that's you may
They
need
hear
that.
all of that. They
But
hear
see,
all that.
that's where the lawsuit
Get
came
virus
in
protection on your
with,
phone,
with
people.
Google, because the government wanted to subpoena Google records to be able to identify certain trades, habits, buying patterns, espionage, and things of that nature. And Google, obviously, Privacy Act, no. So they tried to go to court and sue and all this other stuff. I don't know exactly what happened.
However-
but the government knows that Google's listening.
Right, and here's the thing: Google has since updated a lot of their privacy policy. So you'll get a thing notification on your phone often in order to access your email. Acknowledge that you accept. Google and Samsung does the same thing.
Right.
So major companies about this.
GDPR. Yep.
is it?
GDPR. So, there was like a lot of censorship resistance in 2017. I think that's when a lot of companies were talking about having paid subscriptions. Everybody saw an ad at one point in time like Facebook is going to start charging stuff like that. So there was a lot of people kind of on the underground front fighting for us to have our like rights and freedom for this data, because a lot of us don't realize that apps, when we download them, there's a fine print that says they have access to our phone records. They can photos.
That ain't fine print.
It is.
That's right up there with all the other files.
Yeah.
And unless you click that button, you ain't getting access to the app.
Yeah.
So they're telling you up front, we downloading,
People don't
we
care.
taking all your stuff.
Hiding anymore. Right.
They don't have. It's flat out there in your face.
Yeah.
Give me all. And so, Dr. Business is going to create an app, and you're going to give me access to everything, including your firstborn. And be on the lookout for that.
Kids. What you gonna do with the first?
Sell them.
No.
What?
Train them, raise them, sell them.
Right.
Exactly. It's a human
Entrepreneurship.
way, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Entrepreneurship.
That's why we
Train
have-
up a sales
that's
associate the
why
way
we
that they
have-
should
Train
grow.
And see, what is so ironic? That's exactly what we did back in farmer days. People had big families, 10, 12, 15 kids,
Had a football team.
specifically for the purpose of tilling the ground, because they needed laborers. They had people pick the cotton and the
created
corn
them.
and all that other stuff. So instead of having to hire folk, guess what? We'll just go ahead.
It's a family business.
Have a lot of
Family business, do that, transfer the inheritance to our children's children, and keep the family business going.
Well, I guess I don't need to be in the farming business because I have no children
Yeah.
and no one to help me. Okay.
You eat
Wow.
one piece of cotton.
Hey. And one corn stalk,
Do a
one
half a
tomato
brief.
bush.
Let me tell you, I'm a queen sugar that thing, because I ain't working on nothing. On them.
Wow.
We have come a long way.
Father God.
But we're going to come back. We're going to
Yep.
talk some more about technology. We're going to talk some more about sex robots. Maybe that'll
Sex
get
robots?
you to come back. Yeah,
Really?
sex robots.
I don't think we need to talk about sex
Why
robots.
not? Sex robots. It's a good thing.
No. What? How would you know?
Because I heard through the
okay.
grapevine.
On an ad.
Is this
Exactly.
battery operated or electronic?
Family, you're tuned in to the Profit and Growth Hour here on WDRB Media,
The voice
of
of
the
the
community.
You were so right. Battery operated. Electronic.
Like you plugging her in, y'all clearly not going around the room.
Right.
And we're like, hold on, robot, I gotta get extension.
Runs on gasoline. Did you say extension? Yes. Sorry.